It's been a little while since I shaved, but I'm not really trying to impress anybody because I'm making a video sort of about MGTOW. Uh, what exactly was I going to say about it? I was going to say that words can sometimes escape me, and oftentimes people can word things in a way that make them seem intellectual when they actually are not. I think one of the things that really bothers me the most about the group called MGTOW is that they always they got like the opposite mindset when it comes to the world that I have. The way they see it is if they are the good guy and the world is against them, they're fighting against something evil. Therefore, they're the good guy and they have the power. The way I see it is if something isn't your fault, it's not to your credit. Therefore, you are powerless. And when you give your dignity away to the world in a way where women can tamper with it to the point where it matters whether or not you're in a relationship, I think that's the problem. Because, you know, I kind of have like an exoterrorist view of the world that is based on the idea that, in a sense, you are the creator of the things around you, right? Because your mind interprets the colors, your mind interprets the shades, your mind interprets everything. So, from my Eastern point of view, when you enter a relationship with a woman, it is not about catering to a certain need, but rather it is about sharing a possibility that you have and a possibility that a woman has and making something bigger out of it. You're not sucking the lifeblood out of each other. You are supporting one another. What I see with MGTOW is they always point to society. They always point to the government can do this and the government can do that. And it's not necessarily that I totally disagree with what they're saying, but the problem I do have with it is they allow that to make them sour. Because again, their worldview is that the outside is what determines, sort of the way they behave. I'm not saying it doesn't, from an instinctual point of view, it does. Right? But from a mental point of view and a causal point of view, it should not make so many waves to the extent where women are, you see a problem with women, you know what I mean? Like you're actually angry at them. And you're coming here and you're posting these angry type of videos. These videos like what Marshall Brockway posts. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Because he's been on NoFap, but he totally misses the mark in my opinion. To me, NoFap is supposed to ground you. It is supposed to make you strong, and it is supposed to make it so that other people can't step on you and control you, but it's supposed to do so in a grounded way. And all masculine traits that a man develops has to be balanced with grace. It has to be balanced with that softer side. You know what I mean? Because if not, you're going to be like, you know, it's like cleaning a broom with a not a broom, but you know, like if you had rice paper on the ground, it's like taking a broom and just shredding right through it, you know, with some people. But you know, a person who can control himself and meditates is kind of like a ninja. You know, he can walk on rice paper and nothing happens to the rice paper. Rice paper is completely unaffected. It's untouched. Well, it's not untouched, but it's unaffected. It's not torn. You know, I know in my heart what I want to say, but I don't know how to get it out in a way that is going to make MGTOW understand where I'm really coming from. But what I'm saying is that I don't think the purple pill, the blue pill, or the red pill are right. I think it's more of a Goldilocks pill. I think it should be sort of maybe magenta-y, something like that. The problem I have is that these people say they don't want relationships, but the kind of relationships they say they don't want are the ones that always fail. You know what I mean? All this expectation of sex, you know, in the relationship, you know, talking about how, you know, she gets old and wrinkly and you can't have sex anymore, or if you get divorced, you know, you lose the children, or something like that. See, the problem I see with that is that a relationship like that, in my opinion, is coming from the wrong place to begin with. You know? Like I said, I mean, I see this as supposed to be a matter of completeness, and it's supposed to be a matter of, you know, a lot of MGTOW probably don't believe in God, because, you know, and they don't believe in a oneness. More so than God, I believe in a oneness. You know, if you wanted, you could, you could say I'm an atheist. I don't want to say I'm an atheist because I don't really believe I am an atheist. I don't use that term atheist because I do believe that the oneness is, for lack of a better term, God. That's what it is. It's intelligent. It's a being. It breathes. You know, it lives everywhere, whatever it is. But the thing is, if you believe that, and more importantly, if you experience that to be true in your experience, your relationship's not primarily going to be based on flesh. So, you know, all these people that talk about hitting the wall and all this type of stuff, if Marshall Brockway really believes that sex is for procreation, and that's the main purpose of it, then I don't know what he's really on about. Because, you know, you preserve the energy, you and your partner exercise, they eat right. You know, I have some fluff here. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but, you know, if you really, really wanted to, you could probably make sure that basically didn't happen. You know, you could, if you're not constantly wasting your energy on sex, and you're not constantly, you know, eating dense foods, and, you know, you're exercising every day, and meditation and all these things, and you have divine grace, you might not age much. I'm not saying you wouldn't age, but you might almost not age at all. I don't get it. You know? All this anger and frustration and shit. And, over nothing. Over nothing that they can control. I wish I was a Jordan Peterson. I wish I could go real deep into this. I'm sure Jordan Peterson could explain. If Jordan Peterson was here, he could explain this in a way much better than I could, right? But Jordan Peterson's agenda is not a. It's not really a no-fap. Or, well, let's leave no-fap out of it. It's not really a MGTOW agenda, is what I mean. You know? That's my point. That's the point I'm trying to make about why MGTOW just rubs me the wrong way. And I don't know if y'all agree. I'm not going to get extremely angry because I'm just not feeling it, you know. I'm just not feeling it. And, you know, it doesn't really seem to do much good when I do get angry. So, that's all I really had to say.